Hello, sir. Okay. Okay.
Wait, let me test my audio.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Your audio is actually nice. I can hear you.
Hello, hello.
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay. Let me set up the tripod.
Okay, you're still in the studio.
Yeah. I had to come here just to host this. Let me see. Okay, let's see, come closer. It's all the distributor that does all this for me.
Okay.
Okay. My audio is clear, Abby.
I can, yeah, very clear. Very clear. So let's start. Good evening, everyone, and welcome. I am Patrick, and I am your host for today. I'd like to thank everyone for joining us today. Today, we are discussing a serious topic that affects almost every young Nigerian. Whether you are a working class young Nigerian, whether you are doing business, whether you're still trying to find your footing, whether you are freelancing or working from home, this topic affects us, and it is high time we discuss this. And there is no better time than now to have this conversation as young Nigerian trying to own home in Nigeria. So the topic before us is: Has Nigeria made home ownership impossible for young people? This is a question. This is a topic before us. Has Nigeria made home ownership impossible for young people? And to give an overview, for so many young Nigerians, owning a home right now feels like a dream more than something that can be a plan. It seems more like a dream than a plan. And this is because the price of houses are skyrocketing, rent keeps increasing, construction costs keep going up. And to crown it all up, the naira is always uh, getting devalued because of the economy and so many things. So it gets to the point where people would ask themselves, will I ever be able to own a home in Nigeria? And this is a very serious question. Now, for so many of us, it might be an affordability issue, like, oh, you can afford it, I cannot afford it, and all those things. But I think there is more to it. I think it is more than just being able to afford it. I think it might have something to do with maybe fear of young Nigerians trying to invest. It might be about misinformation. It can be about uncertainty about the future. So it might be anything other than affordability, but definitely affordability is a very, very big issue in this our conversation. And to help us unpack this conversation, I'm joined by someone who has practical experience in Nigerian property market. So everybody, help me welcome Mr. Rabiu Mustapha to our conversation today. Please let's clap for him, please. So ordinarily we would have decided to wait for some persons, but since it is YouTube, after the conversation we'll still upload it, and those who cannot join us now still have the opportunity to watch it later. So we'll be going straight into this right now. So you are very much welcome, Mr. Rabiu Mustapha, aka Property Guy. Let me not read all your biography for them so that they will not run away. so we'll go straight into the first question. And the first question is the biggest question. It is the biggest question. And when you hear Nigerians talk about property prices today, many would conclude that owning a home is no longer possible. They would almost give up. So the first question we'll be posing to you, Mr. Rabi, is: has home ownership genuinely become unaffordable for the young Nigerian, or does it appear that way? And to give a follow-up to this, when you compare property prices with the average salary of today, are we in a losing race? Is it possible? Is it possible, sir? So this is the first question for you.
Okay, thanks so much, Patrick. Please always try to identify if I'm no longer audible so I can
Okay,
check
okay, okay.
here or in my internet. All right, so this conversation and this topic is something we definitely must start having. And when you start saying young Nigerians, we are the young Nigerians. I'm 31. I know you are probably in your late 20s too. So we is this is affecting us. It's affecting. We are the one that are most affected. We that we are just getting into the labor market. We that we are starting families. We are the most affected by this housing unaffordability, particularly for us that we are in the urban cities, Lagos, Abuja, Ibadan, Enugu, mostly. So to answer the first question regarding is housing truly unaffordable, that's 100% yes. I'm born in Lagos. I've spent my entire lifetime here in Lagos. And looking at someone like me that I've been in the labor market since like when I was like 17, that's age 17, down till now. And looking at, okay, the kind of income I've started making maybe when I was 25, 26, 27, 28. By now, I should likely be paying a mortgage. Probably like maybe even paying 2 mortgages. But that's not the case, really. So there are so many factors regarding unaffordability right now in Nigeria. And definitely our income to house prices is income to house prices ratio is definitely part of it. So when you look at even the current MRIF right now, they are offering up to 100 million. Houses are still unaffordable even without MRIF, because for a lot of people that want to take MRIF, the people that qualify, the Nigerians here that qualify for MRIF, are mostly going to be around their late 30s to their maybe mid 40s. So most of them already have a family. They're looking for a 3-bedroom house. On the mainland here, 3-bedroom that qualify for mortgage is from like 130, 150, 180, 200. So some of them is even like 250. So which means that even if you qualify for 100 million naira from MRIF, you still have to add maybe 30 million naira of your money or 50 million naira of your money for you to be able to afford that house, really. So we are definitely having a very, very big affordability crisis right now, particularly in Lagos and Abuja. And the affordability crisis is not even in buying houses alone. It's even in renting. For a lot of places on the central mainland right now, 2-bed is like 4.5 million naira for rent, annual rent. And for the highbrow areas on the mainland, 12 million, 10 million, 9 million to rent a 2-bed apartment. So for someone that has a wife and has 2 kids or 3 kids or 4 kids, which is like the typical Nigerian family way, you can't stay in a mini flat. The minimum you want to rent is a 2-bed. So which means that you likely are going to, you are looking like you are staring at a 4 million naira or a 5 million naira annual expenses. So if you divide 4 million over 12 months, then you're already looking like around 300k to 350k every month in that household goes to rent. So what's now the entire household income per month? Maybe 700k or 600k, or even some worst case scenario 500k. So you are looking at 50% to 60% of household income going to rent every year. So that's very high. That's a crisis, because you can't survive that if anything happens to your job or happens to your business. So we really, really have a very serious affordability issue, both at the rental side and the sales part.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for stating the problem right now. So to give a follow up on that, you see, let's look beyond emotions and talk about actual reasons, actual problems. There are so many reasons why we can say houses are or owning houses is very very not affordable right now. We could look at construction costs, the cost of construction materials. You could look at inflation. When you want to talk about macroeconomics issues, you can look at exchange rates. You can look at the cost of land itself. Although I want you to still look at that later. Cost of land. You can look at infrastructure. You can look at government policies. You can look at financing, just like you mentioned, MREF and mortgage. Now the question is, which of these factors right now has had the greatest impact over the last few years? And why I am saying this is because you see, when we look back like 20 years, 30 years, when our parents tried owning houses, you would understand that some person will say they did not hustle as much as we are hustling right now. They did not make as much as we are making right now. You can argue that based on the value of money over time. But the issue right now is, what do you think is the greatest, what has cost, what was the greatest impact? What has had the greatest impact over the last few years? And do you think price will keep rising, or it will get to a point whereby it will rise and it will fall? I don't know.
So I will start with the last paragraph in terms of the price continue rising. Price will definitely continue rising, definitely. And for a number of people that have been following me on YouTube, I always say it repeatedly, and I always keep saying it's probably like my entire lifetime. Lagos is still the cheapest it will ever be in our lifetime. For whatever prices that we are seeing for property for of home prices right now or houses for rent right now, is the cheapest it's going to be in your lifetime. That's the reality. And it's not about even house prices. Cost of living in Lagos right now is the cheapest it will ever be in our lifetime. The cost of living right now is still going to rise 100%, 200%, 300%. I'm even projecting it's still going to rise up to 500%. So what I mean by that is whatever it costs you in Lagos right now for 100,000 right now, it's still going to cost you at some point 500,000. That's it. So we can argue it till tomorrow, but the indices and everything shows it really. So prices are continuously going to rise, and this is not a bubble. Um, Real estate is demand and supply, and in simple economics, if a product has more demand and limited supply, price will always
Yeah.
continuously skyrocket. We have a growing population. I watched the video earlier today. Africa is the only continent, or let me say, Africa has the highest growing population in every continent in the world. No other continent in the world is growing like how Africa is growing in terms of population. And Nigeria, unfortunately, is the giant of Africa in that respect. So we are also the country in Africa that is growing the fastest in terms of population too. So population growth has its pros and cons, but for real estate, definitely population growth will always drive prices because more people means more demand for houses, more demand for accommodation, and as long as these resources, the land, the houses is limited, prices will continuously also continue to grow. I shared a particular map, was it early this year, on my WhatsApp status, which showed the entire Europe, bet rate for last year was like around 3 million or 3.5 million. Nigeria alone has 7.5 million bets last year. So we had more new bets in Nigeria than the entire Europe. So we have very, very serious fundamental issues and that are driving whatever that is happening in the housing sector or the unaffordability crisis. So prices will always rise. Now coming backward to your opening question regarding different factors that are affecting. Yeah, definitely there are a lot of underlying factors. Inflation is there, exchange rate is there, and that's why it's a bit laughable that for the past, let's say, 18 months, we've had a quite stable exchange rate, but we've not had a stable
Yeah.
properties are still going up, really. So for last year, the federal government announced that inflation went down. Was it last year? Yeah, for last year, before the US-Iran war started in January. So despite the stability even in inflation numbers for last year, property prices still went up too. Really. So it's now time for us to now start asking the real question. That if exchange rate still remains the same, inflation rates they say is the same or is coming down, why is house prices still going up? For me personally, I feel the major factor that we are facing right now that probably our parents or 2 generations or 3 generations before didn't face is the urbanization rate. For a lot of people that spent their entire lifetime in the 80s, in the 70s, in the 60s, we now have this serious urge that everyone wants to live in the city compared to what we have right now. For a lot of us, we, apart from even want to stay in the city, we want to stay in some particular peculiar areas. Now, we can say that Nigeria has 20 million housing deficits or 22 million housing deficit. You can even say Nigeria has 30 million housing deficit. But the fact still remains that Nigeria has the land available to build 30 million houses. If we want to build 30 million houses in Nigeria today, we have the land. We have the land to build it. But will people stay in those places that we built those houses? That's the problem. So the problem we're having is not unavailability of land. The problem we have is that everyone wants to stay in a particular place that it now becomes overcrowded. And there's now a survival of the richest, that if the people that can pay for those peculiar areas that can actually stay there. That's the problem we're having, really. So people I had an inspection earlier today, and then the driver was telling me that he wants to move his family to Lagos. So he stays in Lagos, do his hustle. His wife and kids are in Oyo. And he was telling me that the 2-bed apartment that his wife is staying in Oyo, he's paying 180,000 naira per year for a 2-bed apartment. 180,000 naira per year. So we have cheap houses, we have cheap land. The problem is people don't want to stay there. People want to stay in Lagos, people want to stay in Abuja, people want to stay in Enugu, people want to stay in Ibadan. So if we really want to go to the roots and want to solve it from the roots, is for us to incentivize people to stay in rural areas. We have to find a way to make sure that someone wants to stay in Oyo, someone wants to stay in Ofa, someone wants to stay in Taraba, someone can live their life in Ondo and still be able to achieve every success that they want to achieve. But if that's not the case, you are still just gallivanting around the same circle.
Okay, thank you very much. I love the angle to which you tackled that particular question. I really love that. So this is it. Let us now bring our conversation to the demographic to which we want to cover. That is a young Nigerian right now, and since you've already laid it flat that um, affordability is a big problem and prices might not come down to keep going up. That is one fact that we just have to accept. It's a very, very sad reality, but that is just the truth. So, one of the biggest debates among young Nigerians will be that when it comes to buying properties or when it comes to planning to buy properties, um, it's always I'll buy when prices come down. I'll buy when prices come down. Others will say if you wait, you would only pay more. There are two school of thoughts to this. So right now, Rabiu, for anyone watching us right now with limited income, for every young Nigerian watching us with limited income, should they wait or should they begin taking small steps immediately? And how can someone honestly, I want you to be very honest, how can someone honestly know that they are financially ready to own a property? How can a young Nigerian know that I am ready to own a property?
Okay. Like I mentioned before, I'm a young Nigerian. I'm just in my early 30s. So whatever that is affecting any young Nigerian, particularly in the housing sector or the housing market, is affecting me too. I pay rent here. Where I stay with my family, I'm paying rent too. So I'm paying 2 rents. There was even a time I was paying 3 rents. Really. So for sometimes when I make some analysis, people assume like that I'm immune to some of the things that I'm saying. I'm not immune. The woto too is affecting me. You know, I also got rental increment for where I stayed last year. You know, so and it's all going around, and so there's this very very nice quote that I love to follow, which is that a system that takes from you you must also benefit from that system too. If the rental market is taking money out of your pocket, you must also make sure that rental market also bring money to your pocket too. And that's where a lot of us are making mistakes. When I was growing up, when we were still kids, it's very, very common for you to hear that because I grew up in a rental apartment in a facing and facing. So it's very common for you to hear so person that have relocated to, that have moved to their own house. Yeah, they have moved to their own house. This person that have moved to their own house. So even when we were growing up then, the sources of our parents, for a lot of our parents, their sources or their goal in life is I must move out of this rented apartment to my own house, because that's when I can tell myself that I've succeeded in life, that I've arrived, or I've made a meaningful achievement in my life, and something like that. So, but if we look at that, for a lot of people, you see that some of them, maybe they were staying in K2 or staying in Ojota, and then when they moved to their own house, they moved to Ikorodu, or they moved to Mowe, or they moved to Ibafo, as at then, all those far back then. And the same thing is still happening around now, where a number of people are moving to like maybe Shagamu, Ifo, and so on like that. But usually this kind of relocation and this movement always affects the kids. Even for some of our parents, it also affects their businesses. Because some of them, their customers, their shops are in that Ojota or that K2 where they are moving away from. So now they have to face traffic, face having not to be at home, or only coming home during weekends. And for the kids, some of them have to change school, change friends. And it's now that someone like me now know the importance of going to some certain schools, because they give you some certain networks when you now start doing business and you already have classmates that can even afford what you can buy. So, but why I'm giving all this analogy is, number one, I want a lot of us that are young, and I said us because I'm also young, to see having their own property as an asset, not as a liability. As an asset, in the sense that they must see home ownership or having a home as something that must bring them money. So they must think beyond, I want to own my own house because I want to stop paying rent. They must see, I want to own a house as I want to have an asset that pays me, that gives me money, that gives me leverage. Leverage in the sense that I can likely use this asset to raise capital, get collateral, get loan, or this asset is giving me returns in terms of have rents, have people that are paying me rent, or whatever that are doing there. So it's we have to have that mental shift, because the truth still remains that even with the digital opportunities around social media and everything, you still have to stay in some certain places for you to access some certain opportunities. If you're not staying in Ikoyi, there are some opportunities that you will never get. If you're not staying in VI, there are some opportunities that you will never get. If you're not staying in Lagos, there are some opportunities that you will never get. You understand? So we don't have to see that, oh, because I'm paying my landlord 2 million naira rent, or I'm paying my landlord 3 million naira rent, I must stop paying rent. I must go and build a house in Songo or Ifo, and I must move there. We must start looking at home ownership or having a house beyond just I want to stop paying rent. All right? So that's the first thing. Now, the second thing is, do you have to wait? Definitely you can't wait. And I'll use myself as an example. As at 2014, I was still working in cyber cafe. I started real estate. My first venture into real estate was in 2018. So 2014, I was just a young guy still working in cyber cafe. And then, based on a particular pressure from someone that is a bit elderly, I started around 2016. I started doing something on my father's land. He left a plot of land. Then, before he passed on, he has done foundation on it. So I started just then. Blocks was like, I think maybe 200 or 180. His block. Cement was like maybe 2,800 or 2,700. That 2016. So with 30,000, I can buy block and buy cement and still start something to do on that land. So as at 2016, I started doing something there. As at 2020, my mom moved there. My mom is staying there right now. Now, so why I'm just giving this analogy is, assuming I did not start in 2016, and I just look at it that 30,000 cannot do anything, Jare. I beg, look at see the gather, look at see the hustle. 2020 come, I see the gather, I see the hustle. If I want to start that project today, number one, 30,000 cannot do anything, because block is like 1,000 naira right now. So 30,000 is just
30 blocks.
Just 30 blocks. And if it's cement, 30,000 is just three cement, 3 bags of cement. So you can see how much more difficult it is now, and how much more expensive it has also become. So we just have to start. So the question is not should you start. The question is now how can you start? What can you start with? Now, for a lot of us that are young, we must leverage the advantage that we are young. And what's the advantage that being young gives you? Time. You have time. If you are 25, 20 years plus 25 is 45. At 45 years old, you are still young. Yeah, I may say that you are not a very young person, but at 45, you are still young. If you are 30, 10 years plus 30, you are 40. Compared to maybe someone at age 50 or at age 45. At age 45, 10 years plus you is 55. At 55, you already have gray hair. If you are 50, 10 years, you are 60. At 60, you are thinking of retirement. So at our 25, 26, 27, 29, 30, we have time at our advantage. Start buying bush. That's just it, to be very frank. Except maybe you are at the higher middle income class. Fantastic. Very lucky for you. But you are still at the middle income class, the higher low income class, or whatever category you put yourself, just start buying bush. Yeah. Now, it may not seem attractive, it may not look interesting, it's likely going to look boring, and it's definitely going to look stupid. Buy bush. Now, why am I saying you should buy bush? Number one, at 26, 27, 28, except maybe your parents are rich, you likely are also like maybe at your first job or your second job and just climbing your career ladder. And probably like what you can save in a year is like maybe 10 million, 8 million, 5 million, 4 million. Even for some people, what they can save in a year is just like 2 million. Once they are able to pay all their rent. Where can you really buy with buy land at 10 million right now? Mowe, now, as at today, you cannot buy land of 10 million naira in Mowe full plot. As at today. Untitled. Not even see your phone. Untitled in Mowe today. You cannot see 10 million naira land. Untitled. So it means that your options are very, very limited. So at 26, 27, 28, you start buying bush. What that does for you is that by the time you are 36, 38, 39, you already have like at least 3-4 lands that you have bought 10 years ago. Those 3-4 land are likely have compounded 400-500% for you. So what that gives you is that by the time you are at 40, you have a land that you can liquidate because you have bought that land 10 years ago or 15 years ago that can now give you the starting capital to start something. That okay, I want to start building my own house, or I want to apply for a mortgage, or I want to buy something a bit closer to the city. I have a land that can liquidate that can give me 12 million, or that can give me 15 million. Because I bought that land when it was 700,000, 800,000, 10 or 15 years ago. That's the advantage that gives you. This thing, you have to be strategic about it. In 2023, I was buying land every month. Every month in the year, I was just buying land. I was buying bush.
I remember.
Yeah, I was buying bush every single month. Now, I can tell you confidently that some of those land I bought in 2023, I cannot buy that land today. Why? Because in 2023, I was single. I don't have a child. Now I'm married. I have a child. I can't dare it. But now I have to put their calculation and their permutation into my child will be 1 year next month. He's likely going to start school, clinic up in the corner. Now I'm tight. But now I have those land. I bought them. It's already 3 years now, Abi. By 2036, it's going to be like 13 years. 13 years ago, I bought those land. So I can now start to now picturing what those land are going to look like in 2036. I can decide that, okay, this one I want to exit, I want to sell, or this one I want to build. But I have that leverage because 13 years ago, I bought those bush. So for a lot of we young guys, just start buying bush. And buying bush does not mean that you have to buy random land. You have to buy what you understand. And for a lot of people, what they understand is to buy land in where they know people. If Ikorodu is where you know people, buy land in Ikorodu. See, forget about Ibejuleki offer wants a higher return than Ikorodu, or Ekpeya offers a higher return than whatever. The return of your investments is more important than return on your investment. So your land being safe more important than your land appreciating. You get?
I get that.
I sabi people for Ikorodu. I know my people are there. They can wash over the land for me. So then go 100% into Oko. If you know that I'm from Oyo, start going to Oyo, start going to all the bush in Oyo and start buying land there, because you know that you have people there that can help you to secure it. If you are from the east and you know that it's the east that have just buy land goes everywhere. There are people that are making more returns on their land in Asaba than even people that bought land in Lagos.
Yeah.
There are some people that are making more returns from their land in Ibadan than even people that bought land. So buy land, buy bush. Particularly if you are 30 below, start buying bush. Start buying bush. That's the best and easiest way that you can play. Now, if you are in the higher middle income class, and luckily for you, you have parents that are not calling you every weekend that you have to send something for us, so your parents are fine. So you are just getting for yourself. Can even call your parents that there's this property I want to buy, they're still going to give you 10 million or 20 million. Very, very lucky for you. Higher middle income class. Start playing cash flow properties. Start playing cash flow. See, leave I want to stay in my own house for now. Leave that one. Pay your landlord, don't worry. Just start looking for parties where you can start earning rental income from it. You can be a shop, you can be a mall space, you can be a one bed, you can be a studio. Just start acquiring them. Start acquiring them this time around. So what that does for you is that, number one, if you play your maths very well, you can build that portfolio that the returns that you are making from those cash flow properties can even be paying your own rent. And that's what is happening to me right now. Where I'm staying right now, my two bed that I'm staying right now, is a room self. Is a room self that is paying my rent. One of my room self that is paying my rent. So I just collect my rent from that room self and I use it to pay my landlord for the two bed I'm staying. My landlord last year now increased our rent. I'm still considering if I should go and increase my room self rent. So I'm still looking at if I will increase it or not. So, but now I know that worst case scenario, what is going to pay my rent is there. And if my rent goes up too high, there's also someone so I can go and press his or her neck for me to also pay that money.
Okay.
So be more interested in cash flow properties when you are young than that financial freedom or that emotion that I'm staying in my own house. Pay landlord. There was a video where Dangote said that he's staying in a rented apartment. So if Dangote can stay in a rented apartment, who are you? Pay and just have that money. So that's what I can advise.
Okay. Thank you very much. Our next question. You actually answered our next question, so there will be no need to dwell on that. And that is actually about renting versus home ownership. But you
Okay.
already discussed about that. Thank you very much. So
Add to it. Now,
okay.
I'm not saying that home ownership is not important. I should not plan for it. Definitely, you should plan for it. Even me personally, I'm planning for to probably have someone somewhere for my family and all that. I'm not even planning for a permanent residence in Lagos, because I feel like at some point in my life, Lagos will become tiring for me, and I want to get out. So I'm really looking at, is it Ibadan, is it Ilorin, and other locations like that where I'm definitely going to move to at some point. So plan for home ownership too. But for the age bracket that we have, particularly when we are below 35, financial stability is far more important than just having a home. And that home is not giving you anything. You cannot use that home to raise capital for your business. There's no tenant there giving you every time. So you just know that you wake up and sleep every day as your own house. There's really no really big deal there. There was a video by one of the pastors that also reiterated that point, that build your business, build your financial structure before you build your own house. You can rent as long as possible. Just make sure that when you are building your own house, you are not building your own house from money from your pockets. You are building your own house from money from other sources, because you have for many years you have been building those portfolios, and those portfolios have now gone to a level where they can now afford to now like build your own house for you. Fantastic. Because if you build a house for you to stay, is not a cash flow producing asset. You understand? So you want to make sure that you have enough cash flow producing assets before you now have and that's one of the challenges I always have with Nigerians abroad. A number of them have not visited Nigeria for 15 years, or 10 years, or 7 years. A number of them don't. A number of them that even visit Nigeria only visit Nigeria maybe once or twice in a year, and you see them buying a 300 million house, and they'll even be having preferences that I want to fully detached. I don't want to share my gate or my compound with anybody. For a house that you are going to lock up, for a house that you're only going to be there once in a year or twice in a year, 300 million. You know how much 300 million can do if you buy Dagote IPO and put 300 million there. You know, so it's very important that we all must look beyond that emotion of have a house. Yeah, it's good for you to have a property, have your own house and everything, but you should be coming from returns, not your capital.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. So let's still focus. We are still dwelling on young buyers and young Nigerians, and let's discuss about mistakes right now. Let's discuss about mistakes. Now, you see, many opportunities are lost before people even begin. Are you getting it now? So, Mr. Rabi, in your experience, what do you think are the biggest mistakes young Nigerians make when trying to buy a property? Now, would you agree to this that waiting endlessly? I want you to listen attentively. Waiting endlessly for a perfect time, or comparing themselves to friends. You see, my friends are not buying, I am not buying, my friends are buying, I should buy, or my friends are doing this. Comparing to friends, or another mistake would be buying beyond what they can comfortably afford. It's also a mistake. Or ignoring proper due diligence. That's also something very, very serious. And I actually love that line you made that returns, how did you put it? You said return on your investment. Okay, return of your investment is better than return on investment. That's a perfect way to tell you that safety beats whatever um, profit you'll be making. Safety before you look at what you'll be getting from it. So, looking at due diligence, has that been one of those problems affecting young buyers? And also, lastly, falling for unrealistic promises, like you buy one today, you buy six today, you get one, or you buy 1 million today, tomorrow you sell for 10 million naira, and all those things. What are the biggest mistakes you think young buyers make investing in real estate? Because this also is the reason why some of them run away from real estate, because some of them have been burnt while they were very young. So anything real estate, no, they rather want to do crypto, they rather want to do high risk investment rather than looking at real estate. So what do you think is the biggest mistakes young buyers make?
Okay. I think you have listed a lot of the mistakes anyway.
Yeah.
Um, and I can tell you confidently that a lot of young Nigerians, particularly, let me say people from 35 below, um, 50 to 60% of them don't have any previous getting their hands burnt in real estate. For a lot of people that have gotten their hands burnt in real estate, they are usually in their 50s, their 40s, and so on. But people like 35, 30, 26, 25, yeah, I've got my hands burnt. Which quality do you buy? So so for a lot of the mistake that people have or people are making, I think is more of like because for this our generation, yeah, let me call it our generation anyway. We unfortunately we are the generation that came in with social media, really. So social media started buzzing like around 2009, 2008. So we go right into it. And one of the big challenges with social media right now is um, you can see what is trending. So for a number of us, we believe that real estate is for the old school. And for this our new generation, if you are an investor, that means you are doing crypto, you have Bitcoin, you have an FX wallet, and so on and so forth like that. So we see real estate as an old school investment, which like some part of the mistakes that some people did also for some people that grew up around like the year 2000s or maybe late 90s too, they also felt like stock was a trending investment then too. Some of them had some people, you hear some people in their 40s right now, they tell you, Abule, I had opportunity to buy land there and all those. But they felt like real estate, I would rather do stock, I'd rather, have a stock certificate or and so on. They had more confidence in that. But now you can see the people that bought Abule in 2005, 2004, you can see the returns that are making today in terms of some part of Mokuobana that are selling detached houses for 300, 350 million on half plots. So full plot is like around like 150, 120 million in those locations. So for our generation are also still making that same mistake too. We're making that for something that is trending. What is trending? So that idea that you can invest and then just open an app and then you can track. You can see the signals, how it's going up, how it's coming down. You can use a robot and all those. It makes it look like okay, yeah, that's real investment. Why leave that real estate for the old school people? So that's really really major. So it's a cultural shift. So we feel like real estate is not trending. We more want to put our money in what is trending. So and that's why I would not want to agree with the risk with people that say that I don't want to invest in real estate because of the risk. A lot of these other investment that people are doing has a higher risk than real estate. If you buy land and they dupe you, there's still a land. Like you can still take people that they show me this land. This is the land they showed me. That but the problem is that you bought from the wrong people. But that land is there. That land is real. But you have seen people got duped from buying a coin, from investing in different schemes, and then the website address is not going again. The portal is no longer available or is no longer opening. The wallet is not available. So there's nothing to even point to that this is where I put my money because it was digital. You transfer, you create a wallet and all those. So a lot of other investments that we young Nigerians are doing even have a higher risk, carries a higher risk than real estate. So risk is not really the problem. It's just our cultural shifts and our cultural mindset. And that's why I believe that we in the real estate space too are not doing enough in terms of trying to capture that young demographic. We're not creating products for them. I believe so. I might be wrong, but I believe we're not really creating product for them. And when I mean that we're not creating product for them, I've seen a number of companies try to do something different in terms of like build an estate and make it look like somewhere for the Gen Zs, like organize hangouts around the estates, organize like Gen Z events around the estate. There's one particular name they call it. I've just forgotten. So like just to create a buzz around the estate where these new generations can always come and then like that without ultimate search something thing
Yeah.
around the estate. So yeah, that's still a bit interesting. And I've seen people also like call some estates like it's for the youth or for the younger Nigerians based on price. Yeah, that's also like still interesting. But we are not really um, solving a peculiar need of this generation. This generation are tech generation. They are tech savvy. They are tech driven. How many real estate tech products are we producing? Are we creating? Not that much. You understand? So if you want me, okay, I can say I'm doing real estate or I'm investing in real estate because I understand real estate. I'm into the business. I can tell you that that's one of the reasons why I'm investing in real estate. If I'm a tech person or I'm a digital creator, I'm a content creator, I likely won't be investing as much as I'm investing right now in real estate. Because if I open my drawer where I keep my property files, you just see a lot of paper. People are just full there. Some properties that I bought, I've forgotten. I can't remember. That I bought them. For a lot of people that are in their 20s, maybe 26, 24, 28, they don't want that headache. They don't want that headache. Yeah, the investment is good. Yeah, it's profitable. But I want something I can track with my phone. I want something that I can liquidate just by
Mm.
tapping sell or I want something that I can see the market movement. I want something I can get notifications real time, either on my WhatsApp or my Snap or my Instagram and so on and so forth like that. So the market itself and we the players and the stakeholders in the market itself need to create product to enhance to like attract this generation, and it's still a bit also laughable that till now real estate developers don't want to collect crypto as a form of as a form of payment for their properties. I think in UAE, if I'm correct, I think UAE is already accepting crypto for the buy property in Dubai. I think I read it somewhere, and I hope I'm correct too. If you want to buy a property in UAE, you can pay with crypto. So these are things that we have to realize. I was talking to our last born which day. I was telling me about a job he got, a remote job he got. They are training AI agents. So they pay them in crypto. He has a crypto wallet and whatever. I don't have a crypto wallet. If you want to pay me crypto today now, I don't have any means to collect it. I likely have to go and talk to him. Almost everybody that you talk to that are 22, 23, 24, they have a crypto wallet. So why don't we look at that's a very big market. Why don't we look at how we can incorporate that into real estate too? So and this is where the markets have to really start to show that they are really after young Nigerians. We need to create product for them. The reason why a lot of Nigerians, young Nigerians right now, are into betting is because it's very easy. It's very easy to bet. Very easy. All our bank apps now have betting. All. Either you go to GTB or you go to FCMB, OPay has betting. So even if I don't want to download Bet Niger app or Sportybet, for my bank app, I can bet. So now imagine if we now make real estate that accessible too, that from your bank app, you can invest in real estate. From your OPay, you can invest in real estate. Why do people invest? They invest. So those are just like the fundamental issues that we have to resolve.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So at this point, we would love to hear from everyone watching. We'll pause with you. Mr. Rabi, for now. We want to hear from everybody watching. Drop your comments in the comment section. Uh, the, uh, the question we'll be asking you is we want to know what your biggest obstacle is to owning a home. What is your biggest obstacle to owning a home? Is it that you cannot afford it? Is it that your income isn't stable? Is it that you are afraid of making the wrong decision, or you cannot access financing, or maybe simply because you don't trust the real estate market in Nigeria or in particular places in Nigeria? So we want to hear from you. We'll read some of your responses, and before we round up, we might take some of them. But if we cannot take some of them, just drop your response in the comment section. We will meet you there later. So that is that about that. Thank you very much. Please, for those who are watching, please don't forget to like. Please like our videos. You can also share it to people, but make sure you like and you follow us. You follow this channel. You also follow Mr. Rabiu. His channel is Meet the Property Guy. You also follow him if you want insightful topics about real estate. If you want to learn about real estate in Nigeria, anywhere in Nigeria, you need to follow him because definitely when you follow him, you will make, in fact, you will make no mistakes. Let me not say little or no mistakes. You will make no mistakes investing in real estate. So that is that about that. I'll put a link to his channel in the description so you can go back there and watch. In fact, he has videos as far back as 5, 6, 7 years on real estate issues. You would watch and you would get tired. Over 1,000 videos, about 1,700 videos. You watch and you get tired. So that is about that. So we are back. We are back, Mr. Rabi. We are back, and we are rounding off right now. But you've spoken about some of these things, but we might still just touch it again. And right now, I want us to look at practical solutions. So, you've given some of them, but let's look at practical solutions. Um, for someone who genuinely wants to own a property, what practical steps do you think they need to begin to take today? Like they want to start taking their steps today. What practical steps do you think they need to start taking? And again, what saving habits actually work? This can be personal, but I just feel some persons can learn from our personal experiences on savings. So, what saving habits can people actually work on to start investing in real estate. Also, you can also look at if there are any financing options for young Nigerians to explore. If there are any one of them, you can talk about that. And also, if someone earns a modest income, where should they realistically begin? Where should they start from for someone earning a moderate income? And again, this is also directed to you. It might be too many questions, so but I'm just trying to push it to you. If you are 25 years old again, I don't know how old you are right now, but if you are 25 years old again and starting from ground zero, what would your property strategy look like? So these are so many questions. These are so many questions, but because time, I don't want this to be more than 1 hour. So let me just push it out to you that way. So let's see.
Okay, in terms of practical solutions, number one, just know that the government is not coming to save you. So let's get that one and get it straight. So the complaints and the rants, government come and regulate again. Government should put affordable housing. Government no send you. They no send us. So government is not sending you. You are your government. You are the one in charge of your life. You are the one in charge of your economy. First take that one, because that is going to direct every other thing. So that's the first mindset shift. I am the government. I'm in charge of my economy. I'm in charge of my housing problem and my housing solution. And so it's all like start and sit with you. Now, secondly, when we say investing, people always take it, particularly when it comes to real estate. Real estate has an income entry. So if you're not yet at that income entry, don't try to invest in real estate. And that's some of the mistakes people do. So it seems someone, they buy a land or they pay a deposit and they start running into issue and they're like, oh, please, I need to sell that land or I need a refund or whatever. Real estate, there is a particular entry income that you must get to before you now say, okay, I'll start playing real estate. Now, if you are not yet in that income bracket, what can you do? Start investing in yourself. Start upscaling your skills. We are in an era where there are a lot of digital skills. AI now has even bastardized it more again. So pick up new courses, pick up new training, pick up new certification. It can be short-term courses, it can be long-term courses. Now, what do all these new skills and new courses do for you is that it's now puts you in an opportunity where your income can go 3 fold, 4 fold. When I started real estate, I started as a digital marketer, just handling social media page for the company. I learned content marketing. I learned SEO marketing. From there, I learned um, how to do a podcast, how to speak on video, you know. So I had to upskill. I had to continue. Right now, I'm upskilling again. Right now I'm learning about finance, how to raise capital, you know, startup structure and all. I'm upskilling again because I want to put myself in an opportunity where I can still make more than I can make. You can only make more when you have more skills. You have the capacity or capability to do more than what you are doing right now. You get? So if you are still earning, let's say maybe your monthly income is above 150, 100,000 right now, you definitely should not be thinking about real estate. You should be thinking more about which skill, which course, which program can I go for that can push my income 3 folds, 4 folds. You understand? Now, if you look at it, like, okay, maybe I'm earning like maybe 500K, 400K a month, like 6 million naira a year. Okay. So you now need to now look at your income to expenses ratio. If you are below 30, at least your income to expenses ratio should not be above 60%. So which means that when you add your rent, you add your cost of living and everything together, you'll be able to save 40%. If you can't save 40% and you are single, you are still single and you can't save 40% of what you are earning, there's a problem somewhere. It's likely you are living in a place that you can't afford, you are driving a car you can't afford, or there are some part of your lifestyle that you just have to shelve. And it's important for you to note that when you are single, this is when you have the highest chance to invest in anything. Either it's yourself or it's in real estate, or because there's some risks that you can't take any longer the moment you are married. So you are below 30, you are still in your 20s, try as much as possible to reduce your income to expenses ratio and make sure that at least you have a 40% or 30% of your income left after you have removed all the expenses. Because it's out of this 30 or 40%, you can now start playing to invest. You want to buy bush, you want to invest in a new skill, you want to invest in a new course or in a new program. It's out of that 30 to 40%, you have to do it. Now, in terms of financing options, the federal government has NHF. So some of us, our companies are already registered with NHF, where we are working from. So there's already a percentage of your amount that is already been deducted. Now, if your company or where you work is not open with NHF or is not in collaboration with NHF, you can register with NHF and be contributing there. Now, what that does for you is that if you are contributing to NHF after like 6 months, you are eligible to apply for your NHF loan. Now, it's not like the NHF loan makes sense, to be very frank. A number of people have tried to apply for it. It takes time, but because we are young, we have time. So and one thing about Nigeria particularly is that you really can't see what is going to work, so you want to spread your nets. So if you are working at somewhere where there is NHF option, be doing your NHF contribution. If you are not working where there is NHF contribution, try to go with any of the primary mortgage institution, open an account with them, and be contributing NHF there. I think NHF is like I'm not sure again, but I think it's like around 5% of your monthly income. But you can just check the Federal Mortgage Bank website, fmbn.gov.ng.
Are you still here? I think he's having. Okay, okay. Welcome back.
Yeah, your call
Welcome
came
back.
in and slightly that call is still going to come in again. So
Okay.
now if I go back to my 25 and I have to rearrange my portfolio, yeah, I think I was even thinking about that maybe earlier this week. I'm going to buy less land. I wish I've been buying long lease way earlier than I started. My first long lease apartment, I bought it in 2023. I've known about long lease since like 2019. So probably if I've gotten like maybe a long lease apartment in like 2022, 2021, but it's at a cheaper price definitely, and the opportunity to be earning a higher rent right now. So I have like 4 long lease apartments right now. I feel like my portfolio will be doing better if I have like 7, I have like 8, and I have less land. So that's just one thing I would have loved to rearrange around my property portfolio.
Thank you very much. So this is our closing conversation, and I just want you to do this in two minutes or less. So this is a final question. This is a final question for you. So do you believe the biggest challenge facing the young Nigerian today is actually the cost of owning a home, or is it the fear that they might not be able to afford a home? So is it about affordability, or is it about the fear that they might not own a home at all? So just in
I
two
think
minutes, please.
I think the second option. I think a lot of people are afraid and are scared that based on their current income, based on the current house prices, it's almost looking like they will need 3 lifetimes for them to be able to afford some of these houses. And is that scare and that fear also that also push some people to start doing a lot of illegal activities, or start looking for shortcuts, start looking for where they can put 10 million and going to become 100 million. Because they just look at it that there is no other way for me to make this 10 million, 100 million, you know. So I feel like it's the second option. A lot of people are really, really scared that with this job, with this income, with this monthly earning, are likely will die as a tenant.
Okay. Thank you very much for your honest honest answer. So well, we've come to the end of today's conversation. And for everyone who is here, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Rabiu, for sharing your knowledge and your experience with us today. And thank you, everyone who joined us in this live and contributed to this conversation. So, if tonight's discussion has helped you better understand the realities of home ownership in Nigeria, Please share this live session to someone who needs it. Please and please do this. And do not forget, remember that owning a home is not always about buying the biggest house first. Sometimes it's about taking the first smart step, making informed decisions, and building steadily over time. I am Realtor Patrick. Thank you for watching. God bless you, and we'll see you in our next conversation. Bye.
Yeah, hello, sir. Yeah, bring me, sir.